All right, everybody, it is Kendell, Lenice, and welcome to More Than Just a Movie, where we break down classic Black films. Today, my kids were pumped up when they found out that I was doing this movie because the second
Really?
one, they liked the first one, but the second one is their favorite. We done watched it 50, 11 times. I mean, and it's getting ready to be a third one. Whoopi Goldberg is working on that. She got her people in play. We are talking about Sister Act 1 and 2 today on More Than Just a Movie. I can't wait. I'm excited. Right, Sister Act 1 and 2. Leroy was talking about Whoopi Goldberg and Whoopi Goldberg not getting her just due. So we are going to give it to her here. Sister Act 1 and 2, both blockbusters. They had the adults in the first one, all the children, including Tanya Blount and Lauryn Hill. Don't forget about Cheryl Lee Ralph. All you doing is thinking about your shoulda, woulda, couldas. Man, everybody thought she was such a mean mom on that show until the end to that movie, and people are still coming up to her about that and about Moesha. So we are talking about Sister Act 1 and 2. Hey, Leroy.
What's going on, lady?
That's Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., my partner in this here thing. So let's talk about Sister Act 1 because we're going to try to still end on time. All right, Sister Act 1 came out in 1992. And how we, Leroy and I, define classic Black films is if you are running around saying some of the things from the movies, or if, every time it's on, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you catch it, you're going to finish watching it. You're going to be laughing and having a good time. And Sister Act 1 and 2 are just that. All right. So Sister Act 1, if you don't know about that, let me just tell you. So when a nightclub singer is forced to take refuge from a mob in a convent, she ends up turning the convent into a choir, into soulful chorus, complete with a Motown repertoire, right? Because she sees a crime and they figure the police, Bill Duke, shout out to the late Bill Nunn, says they will never find you here. And she puts on the habit and everything. So she's, however, her only current job was being hired by a married lover. She learns that Vince's true business as a gangster when she walks in on him, killing an employee who done him wrong. As a witness, she's in protection, and that's in the convent. So nobody knows in the convent but two people. And then she starts this choir. The convent falls in love with her, and she's one of the girls in this choir, right? So let's just stop right there with 1. Okay, so it comes out in 1992. And someone asked, is it based on a true story? Like from the Harlem Nun. They said, I don't know, but let me tell you. So this movie made well, let's start with it. It made okay, first it came out May 29th, 1992. The budget alone was $31 million. It made $231.6 million at the darn box office. Wowzer. It is Whoopi Goldberg, and she does have a reputation. This is still on the heels of Ghost, which made a gazillion dollars. It's only 100 minutes long. In the 1990s, grossing $231 million worldwide against a $31 million budget. It was so good that they had to do it twice. A year later, they did the sequel. That was fast. A year later, like they weren't wasting no time.
Yeah, year and a half. Yeah, they ain't waste no time. They was probably looking at. They were probably looking at that as soon as they saw those box office numbers.
They wasted no time. All right, so Whoopi Goldberg was in the movie. Bill Nunn was in this movie. Jennifer Lewis, AJ Johnson, and a lot of other power hitters in this movie. Leroy, do you remember seeing this movie? And have you seen it?
Yeah, I do. Because I mean I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember seeing it, and because it was, I mean it was popular. It was a great movie. I see how it did, the numbers that it did, because anytime you have a movie that's a kid friendly movie, it's gonna do well
Yeah.
in the box office. And I think even Sister Act itself, the first one, was a kid friendly movie because your kids can go to the movies and see this. So you can
Even
bring them
though it
out.
was
It's
still
a
adult
wholesome
content
movie.
too.
There's no cursing.
No, it was
Say
still
it again.
it was still some adult content in the first one. The little innuendos and all of
Right.
that. And she was a lounge
Right.
singer.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but that was just the beginning of the movie. Once you got through that first part, that initial part of it,
That's
it
true.
was it was something I mean, it wasn't any. I don't believe it was any cursing in it. You know, I mean,
You
they
know, I
had
did.
when the mobsters were, when the mobsters killed the person that they were looking for. But I think other than that, it was still something that I guarantee you, if they were to break down that 231 million, where the bot would, where who were the people that went, I promise you,
Families.
kids were yeah, family was a big part of why it did the numbers that it did. That kind of difference, yeah, that's that's a family oriented movie,
Yeah.
as opposed to a
Yeah.
movie that's just adult, like you said, just adult content, you know. So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. I mean, because that's yeah, that I know they weren't expecting to do those kind of numbers. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Behind that,
No.
you
And
know,
I'm looking to see what the rating was. It was
it's
PG.
probably hard.
Yes,
It wasn't
PG.
PG.
It was
Okay,
PG. So you
yeah,
know it. And I don't think even the kids understood the whole concept in the beginning anyway,
right, right.
because
And they
it's
might
so
not even.
much up. No, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say even kids might not even understood the concept of nuns.
That's yeah,
That
all of that.
even that aspect. Those type of things, they
Yes,
just knew it was fun. It was funny.
yeah,
Whoopi was hilarious, man.
yes, she was. Yeah, and I love Kathy Najimy Eve too. She's hilarious too
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they play
yeah,
sister.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of them were.
She
Maggie
plays
Smith
Sister Mary.
played Mother Superior. Like they were all good. The older nun,
Yeah,
Maggie Superior. Yeah, they were.
all of
They
them, they just really, yeah, they made it really hysterical, because I mean, we know when you think of nuns and you think of priests,
yeah,
you think of these, just very staunch and very, old, old
yeah,
holy and all this, that, and the other. And then here
yeah,
you got this you got this vibrant, used to be Vegas singer coming
yeah.
and just
That's
disrupting the
hilarious.
whole thing.
And then I look at all of them, even just Sister Mary. What was the other one? What's her name? Sister Mary. Uh,
And the thing
Mary
is, they were all
Leroy.
yeah, weren't they all Sister Mary something?
Yes. And then it's so funny. Mary Clarence, of course, was Whoopi Goldberg. We're going to talk about what they called her in two, Sister Act 2. But Mary Clarence, hey, babe, Daisy. All right. And then Mother Superior. But what was the Mary Wilkes's character? That the two older ones were funny. And the little the awkward older lady, that's Mary Wilkes. I was trying to think of her name, but What a concept. You know what I mean? What a concept. No one saw nuns other than Gidget. Remember Gidget back in the day and the flying nun and different stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Sally
yeah.
Field. Nobody saw it,
Mm-hmm.
did it like this, right? So you got like who thinks of that? So you know what? So they can't get you. You're gonna go into church and you're gonna wear a habit. And of course, she's a showgirl. Jennifer Lewis is one of them. She's the glitz and the
Right,
glamour, not just a showgirl, but a Las Vegas showgirl where it's nightlife
right.
all the time. That's the kind of vibe you're on. You're singing, you're performing, the makeup, the hair, the clothes, all of this that makes this. And then you go into as a nun and you can't have none of that. You can't show your hair, you can't wear your glitter and your glam, you ain't doing your makeup. And then she goes in, but she doesn't expect to fall in love with all of these beautiful women in the convent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So she's in there, and then she's like, okay, well, we need to do something. And she's like, well, let's start a choir. So they're excited. They're like, I can't sing. Some, really can sing. And the little one, remember the little one, little skinny one, the younger one, she was singing and blowing, and they were having a good time. And she brought life
Yeah,
into the convent. So when it
yeah,
was time
yeah.
for her to go, some of them still didn't know because when she came back for Sister Act 2, they still didn't know.
Right,
And
right.
they really thought she was one of them. What do you think about what do you think was going on with Whoopi's mind, like Mary Clarence? Like, wait a minute, go in here, and then you end up the least expected place, you end up falling in love with the people there.
And see, but see, to be honest with you, that's how to me, and I see this too. That's how life is when we're introduced to culture that we're not familiar with or people
Mm-hmm.
that we're not familiar with. We
Mm-hmm.
find that we have more in common than
Mm-hmm.
what we don't have in common.
Mm-hmm.
To me, and I
Mm-hmm.
think the foundational things of us being human beings, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I think those are the things that these ladies connected with, you know,
Yeah.
and here these nuns were thinking that they had to live such a way that they had to live so restricted. But and then here you had this other woman who was
Yeah.
totally opposite of them, that felt like that there were no boundaries, that there
Yeah.
shouldn't be any boundaries, that I can
Yeah.
live free and do those
Up
things like you
that
were saying.
thing.
Yeah, the big hair and always on stage, and it was about a show and everything like that. And like
Yeah.
you said, she did. I think Whoopi brought something to them, and then they brought something to Whoopi. They kind of met in the middle, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
because they calmed her down, and she raised them up, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the way that they were living.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a to me, that's the story that I see
Yeah.
within, that we all may have these differences, you
Yeah.
know, culturally and ideology and everything like that. But at the end of the day, good music, understanding each other, becoming familiar with each other, it
Yeah.
brings us closer. It'll inevitably, to me, bring us closer together.
Yeah.
And then we
That's
can have an
such a good
affinity
point.
for each other.
That's such a good point. She was like, "Get up off that thing," and she brought the music and she brought them alive. She was like, "This is better
Right.
than sex." Oh, and they looking like she said, "So I heard,"
Yeah,
because she's supposed to be a nun. She was like, "So I heard." But she's like,
I
she
heard
going
that.
through this stuff. This is better than this, and they like, "Yeah." And she just says, they looking at her like, she like, "So I heard." And of course, they're saying, there's something different about you. Like, there's something different. Like, you ain't been in nothing all your life. And of course, she's allowing them to think that. But you're absolutely right. The people that you think are less likely to connect with you and find a place in your heart, they find it, and God moves stuff around so you can, inspire that person or people, and they can help you, like you said. But it's so interesting. Whoopi Goldberg wasn't going to do this at first.
Okay.
Who they had in mind to do this, and let me find it. The casting originally was Bette Midler.
Okay.
And they
Mm-hmm.
changed it to Whoopi. The main location was changed from Chicago to San Francisco, where the comedian had started her stand-up career. So they did it in San Francisco because Whoopi started her stand-up there. So when Bette Midler was going to do it, it was going to be in Chicago. Also,
I thought Whoopi started her. I thought Whoopi started her stand up in New York because she's from New York.
I guess her main big one or is special to her, so they changed it to where she started. So maybe that's the first place that
Mm,
I don't know. But one of the
yeah.
neighborhood teenage girls was played by Desretta Jackson, who played the young version of Celie, Whoopi's character in The Color Purple in 1985. Ain't that crazy?
Oh, oh wow,
And
wow,
she was
wow.
in that. Also, Dolores's girl group, remember when she was Vegas, that was called the Ronells? The
Uh huh.
combination of the name of the two girl groups in the 60s, the Ronettes and the Shirleys. So the Shirelles. So they wanted to pay homage to that. Um, what else do I want to say? Oh, the soundtrack includes Rescue Me. The same song is on the soundtrack to Whoopi's other movie, Jumpin' Jack Flash. That was my movie in 86. Jumpin' Jack Flash. Remember that? And I
Yep.
just look back at Whoopi and I remember how people were saying she was ugly, how people were saying her hair was ugly. What are
Yeah.
those in your hair? Because remember, she was a trailblazer. Everybody got locks now, even people trying to get fake locks. But Whoopi was the first one that showed it. And everybody's like, what is that? It's lock. People didn't have a clue and they judged it all the time. Now everybody got locks and it don't look like no big deal. But in the 80s, she had
Yeah.
her beautiful brown skin. She had her locks and people were looking at her like she was ugly. And I look back at those pictures of Whoopi, and even though I was there in real time, because that's our era, but I'm like, she looked beautiful. She
Yeah.
really did. When you
But
look,
but that but that goes to that. It really does, and it's a shame that it's still, it is a part of the culture today, that light skin, dark skin, the darker you are. And this goes for you. I don't know if y'all look at, if it's looked at it for the same as men sometimes, but I think more so for women. The darker skinned women were the ones that were, like you said, were seen to be ugly and not as attractive, and
colorism.
and all of those things, and just not looked at for who they were. And I love what you were saying about Whoopi, because she seemed to be, she wasn't worried about what people thought about her. It was about,
No.
I'm going to be authentically me,
Yeah.
and Hollywood will accept me for who I am, what I
Yeah.
do, because not because of what I look like on the outside, but
Yeah.
who I am and what I do on the inside. Because I'm sorry, her talent speaks for itself. And that's why I was just like, man, we hadn't done Whoopi. I'm
Yeah.
like, this one, and she was the first, black woman to win an I don't know if she was the first
You
black
got.
period or to win the EGOT.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, the EGOT is four top awards that you can win in whatever, because it's the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar or the Academy Award, and then the Tony. She was the first to
Yeah.
win all four.
Yeah. She talented. And when I look, like, she didn't try to lighten her skin. She didn't say, I'm
Nope.
taking my locks out. And it's a
Yep.
clip going around. Some people were posting it. It's Whoopi Goldberg and Joan Rivers. Rest in paradise to Joan Rivers. She was hilarious. But
Yeah,
in
she
this
was.
clip, she was can we talk? But she was interviewing on her show. Remember, she had her show on, like, her
Hmm.
talk show.
Hmm.
And she was interviewing Whoopi. And she didn't mean no harm. She wasn't calling Whoopi ugly. She was putting Whoopi in the same category as her, unattractive. because everybody knows Joan Rivers used to always talk about how unattractive she was, how, you know, she was scared, how, and then she ended up passing away, ironically getting plastic surgery. But she was talking to Whoopi, and she was talking about someone, and she was like, don't you wish that you were just beautiful, that you were what she say, skinny and beautiful, or small and beautiful, something like that, beautiful. And Whoopi said, I am. And so are you. She's like, no, 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 I'm not talking about that. She's like, and then she's putting Whoopi in the same category with her. She didn't mean any diss, I don't believe, to Whoopi, but she was saying that her and Whoopi are not that conventional beauty. She was talking about, like, she said, she mentioned Cindy Crawford. She's like, I mean, like that. And Whoopi was like standing on it. She was like, I am beautiful. I am that. What you're saying, don't you wish you are? I am. And then she said, and so are you. She was trying to lift her up. I got to send you that. And she was like, and so are you. And Joan Rivers was like, no, 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 I'm not. And then she said something, a joke. And then she said, well, I would pick Cindy Crawford over you, to Whoopi. But Whoopi said something. I forgot the little clap back. And it was like a joke. But at the same time, it was sad because Joan Rivers didn't know that she was beautiful, and she was putting Whoopi in the same category as her. And Whoopi was like, nah, I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you look at that clip, she looked so beautiful in that clip. People was like, I remember people like, what are those in her hair? She's so ugly and unattractive. How did she get to do? And I'm like, and then you buy into that and not even think about it. Then you look, and when I say buy into it, you buy into, as Black women, that standard of beauty that they're showing, we're not that.
Yeah.
Whether it's light skin or brown skin, dark skin, you know, we come in many hues, but because some of the hair ain't slinging to the floor, or because it's not what they stuffed down our throat, what beauty was. It's only until, you know, we were looking at Jet and Ebony and Essence and seeing people that look like us, but even on the main platforms, it was still white. My daughter was having a conversation with white women, right, of age, in their 30s and in their 40s, one in their 50s. They had no clue who Cheryl Lee Ralph was. They're watching Abbott Elementary, right? And they're saying, this new lady is great. First, they didn't believe that she was 66. They were like, she's probably playing an older lady. My daughter, the only Black person in the group, was like, in the room, was like, no, she's 66 years old. She's playing that. And they were like, oh my God, what's her skin regimen? But I thought about that, because I've seen Cheryl Lee Ralph since I was little. She used to be on this show called It's a Living. Remember, she was with Richard Pryor and what was it? Which Way Is Up? One of them. So I've seen her on stuff since I was young.
She was one of the original Dream Girls, wasn't she?
Exactly. And that came out, what, in 81.
So it was definitely right.
She was the original Dina, what Beyonce played. So I've seen her beauty in her my whole life, right? And I found it so interesting that these white ladies never heard of her, seen her. But then I thought about, think about this. We know all the white legends.
No, I mean, Shirley Ralph definitely has a history, but like you said, a lot of them, you think about what she played in and those things that she was a part of. A lot of them don't know about Dreamgirls. A lot of them don't know.
It's a Living. I used to watch that show all the time. She was the only Black person on there.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, and especially if the young white girls are in their 30s and maybe 40s. So you're talking, they weren't born until they were, you had one our age, she might have, but the ones that were in their 40s and 30s, they certainly weren't watching, that,
But
those shows.
my daughter, and I'm bringing it back circle. My daughter asked, "Have you ever seen Sister Act 2?" And they said, "I've
Okay.
seen that before." And my daughter was like, "That was the mom in there. The shoulda, woulda, couldas. That was her." And they
Yeah,
were
and
like,
they,
"Oh,
yeah,
okay," but they still weren't registering. And then I
registered,
thought
right.
about all the shows we used to watch:
Yeah, yeah.
Wings, Kate and Allie,
Mhm.
um, what different show? I'm thinking about
But
all
think
of
about it. No, but
shows
you're
going
making a
on.
really good point though. We watch their shows, but they didn't necessarily watch
That's what
our
I'm
show.
saying. That's my whole point. But
Yeah,
because if you can, I can tell you some of these white actresses that been around forever.
yeah,
We can talk
absolutely.
about Betty White because who didn't know
Yeah,
Golden Girl? We can talk about a lot of these white actresses. I love me some Goldie Hawn, honey. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Sandra Bullock.
yeah,
We can talk about the older ones. Like I love the movies and watch the movies. Bette Midler, we just talked about her. Yes,
yeah.
so many, and they don't know. Barbara Hershey. I mean, I can think of a lot of different ones and we know theirs, but they don't know us. They don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, that's what we were talking about in the movie when I was talking about the cultures. When you get people and you come around people that you're not necessarily familiar with, and
Mm-hmm.
you say forced or you become familiar with them, then you start to be like, oh, okay, oh
Mm-hmm.
wow. And that's what happened with
Mm-hmm.
these nuns in the movie. They were like,
Yeah.
okay, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun. I can let loose a little bit. And
Because we
even
gonna bring life
even
to the party. We gonna bring life to the
right.
party.
And
Oh,
even
we gonna bring it.
yeah, and even on Whoopi's side, her saying, you know what, maybe I do need to kind of rein it in a little bit. Maybe I can bring it a little back. And even Whoopi's character was like with the nuns, they,
Mm-hmm.
let's say the nuns were the young white girls in this
Mm-hmm.
group,
Mm-hmm.
and your daughter is like Whoopi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me
Mm-hmm.
introduce you to who this other person really is,
Yeah.
and get you familiar with what it is
Yeah.
that that they are. This
Yeah.
part of life that you haven't even been
Yeah.
introduced to,
And
and
I'm
that you
glad
aren't
my daughter
familiar
is
with.
that. Yep. And I'm glad my daughter is that to them. She be telling them, and it ain't like they're trying to be a certain way. They just don't have a clue. It's not
Yeah.
like trying to be, and I don't know what their history was before, but they love my daughter and they were
Mhm.
trying. And my daughter she be dropping the facts, and she's young, way younger than all of them. This is at work, way younger than all of them.
Mhm.
They're like oblivious. And it really is a thing of almost like my daughter was like, we really live in two different worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's not a part of their culture. Our culture incorporates them, but
Everybody. Yep.
their culture doesn't necessarily
Yep.
incorporate
Yep.
us.
Yep.
And that's why you can have, them not seeing racism the way we see it.
Yeah.
They may not be that type of person, but it's like, oh my gosh,
They don't
really?
understand this reality. Exactly. Like it
Yeah,
still
because it's not a
exists.
part of it wasn't a part of, or isn't a part of who they know
Yep.
to be, and it
Yep.
wasn't a part of what they've known, man. So
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
definitely,
It's so
definitely.
interesting because these people that we know, and I can't say all black folks knew Cheryl Lee Ralph everything she was on either, so
Right,
you
right,
probably got a
right.
group of them as well. But
Yeah,
I'm
they're not
like,
familiar with all of those shows, right? Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I
'Cause I,
did,
like
but
I
I
said,
mean, that it's a
yeah, I mean,
living.
because
I don't know how many people watch that, but I just remember as a young girl watching that. It's a living with Shirley Ralph. It was like they were all like waitresses at this. I don't know if it was, now that I think about it as with my young mind, it was like a restaurant, but an upscale restaurant. Not sure if it was in a hotel. They had singers and stuff. And I remember her being the only one. and it was good. And that was like my first outside of, Dream Girls and seeing the campaign and stuff, because I didn't see that on Broadway. Was that. And I just remember that. But with Whoopi Goldberg, and to be able to see Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act, Jennifer Lewis in Sister Act, to be able to see Cheryl Lee Ralph in the second one, and to be able to see them all come together with everybody, that's a movie for everybody. Like, that's not even just a movie for Black folk.
Yeah. I mean, and it really is. And I think that was and I'm gonna ask you this because we haven't gotten to it yet, and I might have to wait till the end. But at least you can put it in your pocket. You can think about it. Which one of these was better, Sister Act 1 or Sister Act 2?
I say 2. All day.
And that's very rare. That's very rare that you get a 2 that's better than better than the original. You know what I'm saying?
A year later. So let's get right into it, because we're gonna end on time. So let's get into it. We're getting right into Sister Act 2. We talked about Sister Act 1. My daughter said 2. I'm telling you, I told them already that you y'all love it. Y'all love Sister Act 2. That's our movie. Man, when them kids be singing and dancing in the classroom. So let me just give you my take. So in 1993, a year after the first one, Sister Act 2 came. So they calling Mr. Mary Clarence back to the scene, because now they got some unruly kids. They don't know how to handle the kids. They feel like her streetwise self can come in and pull it all together. She comes in laying down the law like, this ain't happening, that ain't happening, the kids is kidding, and they trying it, and she puts her foot down, and she comes in there, and they like, oh, you a different type of sister. You a different type. One, what my daughter said, 1 was good though.
It was good, but I think 2 was better. I think 2 was better than 1 in this case. So. And it was good. And it's so interesting. So she comes in. So let me read. So that's my take. So let me read 1993. And ironically, that's when my daughter was born, and that's her favorite movie. Go figure. That shows that it transcends. So in Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, 1993 musical comedy film directed by Bill Duke and released by Touchstone Pictures. All right. So this is loosely based on Crenshaw High School choir instructor Ira Stevenson, for those that don't know. The story sees Whoopi Goldberg reprising her role as Dolores Van Cartier, as she finds herself coming to the aid of her nun friends who need her help to save the kids and the school. So this is the sequel. This sequel didn't do as well in the box office as the first one, but the second one is everyone's favorite. They had $38 million to make this movie, and I mean, it wasn't shabby at the box office. That's still a great margin. I'm sorry.
Right, they still got their return. It made $125 million. That don't sound like a pop to me.
I promise you, Hollywood will take those numbers right there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man! And I'm telling you, Whoopi now, Whoopi said people come to her all the time talking about this is her favorite movie. They're in works of trying to do a Sister Act 3 or a play. They're trying to revive these roles because people love it. She said people still keep coming up to her talking about Sister Act 2 and quoting it.
You think that was her biggest? You think that was her biggest role, other than Celie in The Color Purple?
I think Ghost and this.
I think
Ghost and this.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ghost was good, but I'm not. I mean, I would pick me personally. I would pick Color Purple. Her character in Color Purple,
and that's people's top movie. Yeah. And then this one, she has a lot of great roles.
Say it again.
It shows that she has a lot of great roles.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I said she's definitely, she doesn't, to me, she doesn't get the accolades. And she doesn't act like, I mean, she is, to me, she's an icon. And maybe
For
in that
sure.
industry, she gets more, more accolades or whatever. But when people talk about actors, in Hollywood, Whoopi's name isn't one that kind of resonates with people as much to me. It just,
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong, but it
And
doesn't seem to resonate.
she's
You know.
been on The View so long, they're forgetting. Like, you have to understand, some people are growing up with her
Yeah,
being on The View. Was she been on there like 20 years? I mean, I don't
yeah,
know,
I
but it's
believe
been over a decade. So
yeah,
people
yeah.
see her there, and then the little clips that go viral and some of the things she may say or do, people's they're forgetting, outside of, I believe, seriously, outside of Color Purple and outside of Sister Act 1 and 2. Those are
But
what people come to mind. They forget that she's been doing this for years.
did you ever see her
One
one
woman show.
woman her one woman show?
Yes, where she put the white t-shirt on her hair.
She had different. Yeah, she was doing these different characters. I mean, that's where I came to know Whoopi from.
Me
Was that?
too.
Yeah,
And
that
Comic
was
Relief.
the thing.
Remember Comic Relief? Remember Comic Relief back in the day
I
with
remember
Robin
the name.
Williams
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
But that's how I came to know, more familiar with. Now Sister Act 2, Sister Act 1 and 2 that came along, and of course I think The Color Purple was probably her big break, the
yeah,
big break. That was the
yeah,
first major movie that she was a part of. But definitely her one woman stand up, and she was funny. She was
yeah,
she was actually a funny comedian. She
yeah,
and she didn't, like a lot of these other female comedians, even the male ones too. But a lot of the female comedians out here today, they seem to have to use a lot of foul language
you always
as
say that.
opposed
Yeah,
to, Whoopi didn't use. I don't recall her using a lot of foul language in her stand up. It was
yeah.
more about the characters that she created, and just the stuff that, I mean, because she had one that was a hippie. I had to go have to
Yeah,
find
she
it.
had the little valley girl. Remember the
Yeah,
white girl?
yeah,
She had the hippie. I haven't seen that since I was young, young. I
yeah, yeah.
remember
It's
that.
been a long time.
Yeah,
But she, she that was what I came to know her in. And like you said, Ghost was probably the second biggest movie. I don't know
yeah,
if that one was bigger than Color Purple as far as numbers wise.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
Ghost blew everything out the water. But I think Color Purple did, I mean, it did those Ghost kind of numbers as well too. But
yeah.
but Sister Act 2 definitely, that margin, that return on that investment is just as good as that Sister Act
For
1.
me,
So
right. Commercial. So let's talk about the breakout stars. Lauren Hill.
yep.
That was her breakout role, as well as Cheryl Lee Ralph. We talked about Jennifer Love Hewitt, who I just watched yesterday on 911, my show with Angela Bassett being the highest paid Black actress on
Yeah.
911. Jennifer Love Hewitt's in that. Ryan Toby, like, he's written some of the most amazing songs that we know in the music industry. He's the one that sang "Oh Happy Day."
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
music. I don't even know where to start with Sister Act 2. The
Yeah.
music, the kids, Whoopi Goldberg's daughter, Alex was in it. She
Oh,
was
okay.
she was in the movie. She's the one that had lighter complexion. She had shorter hair, longer hair. She was even in the movie. The movie was great. The characters in the
Yeah.
movie, they were great. So the whole plot was to get the school together, save the school, and raise money, and to enter the children into the music competition, and to raise money in the neighborhood, save the school, and to teach the children something about
I got
music.
two people, and I want to know. I want to see if you know, if they were, if you recognize, if you realize that they were in this movie. Two females, two young.
Tanya Blount,
They're our age.
Tanya Blount's in this movie.
No, not her. She's from Baltimore, but no, not her.
Yeah, she's
Not
from
her.
DMV. Uh-huh.
And both of them are well-known actresses. Or I'll give you a hint. One is a well-known actress, and one is a well-known hip hop artist.
Lauryn Hill, you talking about?
Nope.
Monica Calhoun is in it.
Yep.
Monica
That's one.
everybody knows her from Best Man. Monica Calhoun is in it.
And that
And,
cowboy.
and you
Remember
can't play
that?
with me. Yo.
Yeah. Yep. I
Monica
was like, hold
Calhoun
up. I
was
was
one of
like,
the
wait a
kids.
minute. Yo, was in there.
Yo. Monica played one of the kids. Low
Yeah.
key, Yo in the 90s used to be in a whole lot of stuff.
Really? Okay, because that was when
Yo,
because they just she came out in the 90s with Ice Cube, because Ice Cube brought her out, got
yeah,
her, kind of put her on
yeah, yeah,
and everything like that. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but that was big for Tanya Blount, because everybody, everybody from Baltimore was like, yeah, that, they her and that song, because she had an album out. She only had I think the
Yeah,
one album
through the rain,
that
her song
that
Through the
came.
Rain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, love
She's
that
in a
song. Yeah, yeah,
and I
loved it.
remember she unfortunately she made headlines when she had married a pastor, and it was just a volatile relationship that she popped up. But then now she's been married for years to someone else, and they have like a folk kind of band or like a folk group.
Oh, really?
And I need to find the
Oh,
name out.
wow.
And they've traveled and they won Grammys. Like, it's totally out of the box. It's not
Wow.
R&B. What is the name of that's gonna, let me see, Tanya Blount. What is the name of that group? And her husband have a group, and they are traveling all over the place. I have to find
Okay.
that right now. And every time she be like, this one, she said she could sing. Our we love when she be like, this is for church. When they like, no, you can sing. She like, Remember with her and Lauryn Hill? Because she was like, because you can sing too. I don't sing like that. And she was like, your voice. And she said, but this is for church. And then our other one is like, when she say, Sister Mary Fake. What name with Whoopi Goldberg instead of Sister Mary Clarence, when he finds out at the end, he says, Sister Mary Fake.
Oh yeah.
We still be saying them. We still be saying that stuff. I'm trying to think, because her song was Through the Rain. The group is, what is it? War and Treaty. There it is, the War and Treaty. And that's the name of the group that she has with her husband. And I found it on Instagram one time, and I said, well, wow, they do all kind
Oh,
of
really? Okay.
covers the War and
Yeah.
Treaty. And she's still singing. And we
Okay.
know Lauryn Hill, what had happened with Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill blew up, and she looked so gorgeous in the movie. And when she was singing, oh my goodness. Oh
Yeah,
my
and
goodness.
that's the thing that people. Well, I'll say this, and I don't want you to get and I don't want you to get in trouble with the Beehive, but I will, because I don't care. But
Oh Lord.
Lauren, but Lauren Hill is, to me, is more talented than
Yep.
Beyonce. She can sing better, she can act better, and if you want to throw in the hip hop, because she can throw a rap down if you needed to, in a verse in a song as well too. I wish Lauren hadn't, I don't know what happened to her, after that miseducation of Lauren Hill. I mean, that album was probably one of the best
Phenomenal.
albums. I'm talking Stevie
Yep.
Wonder, songs in the key of life type,
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of
It's a
album, that
classic.
that's how good it was. That's how good it was, and
It's a
how
classic.
talented she was. And she could have gone in so much. She could have done so many more things, acting wise, singing wise. All of that. She was all of that
Yeah.
wrapped into one person, man.
Yeah.
And had like you said, the singing, hear her voice, it was just beautiful. Especially when
Man,
her
when
and
she's
Tanya Blount
singing,
did that
that's
Eyes on
what
the
I'm
Sparrow.
saying. That's what I'm saying. When they were sitting at that piano in that dark, and it was kind of, the light was
Yeah,
dim. And when she took to that,
yeah,
man, oh man, and that's when, Sister Mary Fake came peeking in, and she didn't know she could sing. This is, let me just show you. So this is Tanya Blount and her husband. They were on Jimmy Kimmel. Like they're huge.
Really?
They're
Wow.
huge.
Okay.
And like a year or two ago, I discovered that, and I was like, "What?" Like they're traveling all over the place. That was Jimmy Kimmel. They're on. Look, they even got a billboard in Nashville. Like they're like huge.
Wow.
So
Okay. Okay.
she's still
I'm
moving and
glad
grooving.
for her.
Yep. Look, they were on the Today Show. Like I was like, people think that she ain't doing nothing, but her and her husband got this group, and apparently the
Mhm.
music that they have is like folk, country, soul. I don't know what you would want to call it, if anything, but they'd be performing, I think, at the country award. Like it's just a whole kind of a vibe. That's all I can think of. And they really are doing it. And she went low key for a while, but apparently they have a strong following. Shoot, they got so far 60,000 people, 60,000 followers alone just for that page, not her personal page, but the music page on Instagram. And then Lauryn Hill, like you said, with the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, that's a classic album.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then you have, like I said, Ryan Toby. Let me just run down. My daughters know who Ryan Toby is and some of the stuff that he did. He was in that group City High. And let me see, pin songs. Let me just see something for a second. And he's the one that sang "Oh Happy Day." Remember when he was scared and she was like, "You got to use your," remember
Yeah.
when Mary Clarence was like, "You got to use your," I forgot what she said, but you got to go from here, because remember he was like, "Oh happy day, oh happy day," and then when he hit that note, she turned around like, "What?" Because remember they went to the senior home, and to try to do
Right.
that, and Lauryn Hill's mom didn't want her to go because her father was a musician, and that happens often, and he left her, or it didn't pan out well, so she didn't want her her daughter to follow in the footsteps, so she snuck and signed the permission slip, and they were singing. And I don't know, what do you think about Sister Act 2? Do you like that one better too? You like that one better?
Did you find that list?
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I was asking. So I was asking if you liked it better. Okay. So he's saying, I mean, oh, just composers after composers. Okay. He's written a song for Raheem Devon. He's written for Ro James, Justin Bieber, Luke James, Fifth Harmony, Estelle. He's the Empire cast, all the songs, Kiki Sheard, Clark Sheard. She's like of the Clark sisters. He's written and composed for movies, Carl Thomas, Anthony Hamilton, Usher, Whitney Houston,
Wow.
Lisa, Left Eye, Sticky Fingers,
And
it
let
goes,
me
Chris Brown. I mean, it goes on and on and
and
on.
let me tell you something. That that young man is getting paid
Oh,
because he's the songwriter,
oh, no doubt.
and the songwriters, they still get royalties
Oh, come on.
off of that music.
Come on. Talk about it. And it's just like
Yeah,
looking at.
and
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. And let me say this. You know Will Smith's song "Welcome to Miami."
okay,
He's a co-writer on that with Will Smith. I mean, it
he wrote
goes
that
on.
too.
Yeah, yeah. it's so many songs that he has written and been a part of, and even with his group. So, these young people, these were talented young people, and they came out swinging.
Yeah.
Okay, they came out doing it. And I love the fact that Whoopi, because her daughter, because think about it, if my daughters are that age range and I'm having a movie, I'm putting my daughters in the movie. So I love that Whoopi did that. I love it.
They do so they can get a check.
Heck
you know.
yeah. Look, she probably paid her tuition to school that year.
I know, right?
Like, you go on.
For real, for real.
And this was one of the, I wish I can play it, but one of the scenes remember when they got to the end, and that scene at the end where they're on the stage and they have you down with G-O-D. Yeah, you know me, you down with G-O-D. Come on. When they were doing, man, mighty, mighty chorus, and they was doing the dancing. I wish I can play it. Let me turn it down. I can't even play it. But there's Monica Calhoun right there. So on those scenes, when it was time to win, and they had their choir robes on, and she was like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this as ourselves. And Jay was like, take the robes off. And they had their outfits on, and then they were doing it. What have you done for him lately? He watches over everything, joy you bring. I'm not Lauryn Hill or Tommy Bob, none of them, but that gets me hyped.
And that's the thing about, and that's the thing I was saying about, about bringing, even in this day and time, even back then, because I remember back then I was in the young adult ministry at my church, right? And we were trying to bring this, kind of get out of the box with, with music, because you got to remember Kirk Franklin was big, was taking off back then, and you had this non-traditional type of music that people weren't used to hearing or being, and doing. And that's what, introducing, that's what, to me, like I said, all of this introducing a different kind of freshness and even culture to people. And that's what the kids, like you were saying at the end, they were doing. They were infusing the gospel music, or the not even the gospel music, but with the R&B. There was this fusion, and you can say that there can be that.
Yeah.
You can have this fusion. You can have this, and it's still, and it gives people life, like you were talking about with the nuns. Man, I feel energetic. I feel uplifted, as opposed to just, I'm just living my life. Oh, even a scene with the food. They giving them this bland food, and woman was like, "What is this?" It's like, no, wait, we need to have some, some salt. I mean, some food with some flavor to it.
But that's a good parallel. Wait, pause right there. That's good, Leroy. Sister Mary Fake came to that school and gave it some flavor. She came and turned the crown upside down, turned the dreary to bright. Think about it. How mundane their life was, how quiet it was, how structured. And structure is not bad, but how structured it was. And she came saying, you can dress still like yourself. You can be yourself. You can still love God. You can still acquire these things and do these things. And she came and put some seasoning. She done put some Bobby Brown seasoning on the food.
For real. But that's what we do. We gonna season anything that we come to. I don't care. We gonna add flavor to whatever it is.
We're gonna flavorize it.
We gonna flavorize it. We gonna add some flavor to it. That's what we do.
Man, oh man, we gonna come and we gonna disrupt the pattern, and we gonna make it, turn the crown upside down. And I just think about, and so they go. So the even though they're telling Sister Mary Clarence that she's different, She not one like one of the regular sisters or the nuns, and they trying to figure out, and she's, checking them. She's checking the attitudes. She's bringing the good out of the kids. She's showing the kids what they thought they couldn't do, they could do. She was giving them a voice, literally and figuratively, and they was rocking with her. And then at the competition, they overhear that she's a Las Vegas singer. And the Love Boat, that girl that sang the Love Boat, she looks like what? And then they go tell, and it's over, and they hear the other parishioners or whatever hear, and then the main one who comes to look, they done stuffed him in the dang closet until after, because he wasn't gonna mess up the show. And they find out, at the end, that she's a Las Vegas singer. And Sister Mary Clarence, Dolores, kind of hints that she is. And then it kind of ends. So it makes room for a 3. It makes room for a 3.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know, you talking some 20, 30, when the sister has some
30 years ago. 30 years.
30 years ago. This year. Wow.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it'll be 30 years in December. It'll be 30 years in December.
Passed away. The lady that passed away, the little, not the older sister, the mother, Margaret, I can't think the mother, but the other older woman, she passed away 2 years after the movie. The other older.
Oh, did she? Okay.
But, and Kathy was a Jiminy, she's still so I would love to see, maybe, I don't know how they would do it, maybe a different group of children, maybe the children are now the teachers, or maybe some of them went into the convent. Like, I don't know what they would do, but I tell you what, whatever they do, we at the movies. We're gonna see it.
Yeah, I think if people will go see it just because it's Whoopi and it's the Act 3 just on the name itself. Yeah. I truly believe that.
So you can listen to the soundtrack. It's the greatest melody ever told. Hers and Never Should Have Let You Go by High Five. Get Up Off That Thing, Dancing in the Street, Whoopi Goldberg's and the Sisters. Oh Happy Day, the St. Francis Choir, Ball of Confusion with Whoopi and the Sisters. His Eye on the Sparrow with Lauryn Hill and Tanya Blount. You can still watch that. A Deeper Love, which is Aretha Franklin. Wandering Eyes, I remember that group. Nothing Nice. Pay Attention was Ryan Toby and Valeria Andrews, and the Ode to Joy, which is the Chapman University Choir. So those, even if you're not watching the movie, you can still listen to the songs, and you can go on right here on YouTube. And I got the DVDs for both of them, but go on YouTube. I think you can buy or rent Sister Act 2 on YouTube, but you can listen to a lot of the music.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and a lot of the thing, because I tried to find, it said that you could watch it on Tubi. Is it Tubi? Is that how you say that? That channel?
Tubi. Yeah. Tubi is something else.
Yeah, Tubi. They said it was free, but I went on there and it ain't on there. So I was just like, whatever. So you couldn't, because it was supposed to be on a couple of them, but like the ones that you were saying, you either had to rent it or you had to buy it. And I was like, this movie is 30. These movies are 30, 30 years old, 31 years old. I'm like, nah.
But you know something, Leroy?
But they're definitely.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, you if you want to rent them, you can rent the movie, but like you said, you can go listen to the soundtracks. I'm sure you can find those on YouTube. You can put in the soundtrack Sister Act 2 or Sister Act 1, and you can get you can listen to the soundtracks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I forgot what I was
but before we go, we mentioned this at the beginning about Whoopi winning that EGOT. She won an Emmy for Outstanding Talk Show. She won a Grammy for Whoopi Goldberg, which I believe that was her stand-up. I think that was her audio part of the stand-up. I think for having that in the audio version, that's what it's going to be for a Grammy. She won the Oscar for, of course, Ghost, which we talked about, and then she won the Tony for Thoroughly Modern Millie. Are you familiar with that? Because I had never heard of that.
I remember when that was. I never seen it, but I remember when that was out. I remember that.
Oh, okay.
I remember
Okay.
that. And
Okay.
definitely, I'm glad that you
Mm.
named that, give her props because she is more than just a View host. Like, she didn't get that job just
Yeah.
by chance. You know what I mean? She had been doing this thing for a very long time. And that was like a thing to kind of put her stable because if you're a comic and you're traveling all over or you're on set in different sites in different countries doing movies, sometimes as you start winding down, you want to have some stability. And they pay her
Yeah.
well over
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and she doesn't have to travel. And I think people, the younger generation, that's where they really know her from. But the beautiful thing is 30 years this movie has been out, and kids still talk about this movie like it just came out. And it transcends
Yep.
time. It really does.
Yeah. It really does. Yep. Yep.
And it has
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
different
just like
themes. No, go ahead.
no, it's just like it's just like a good song, a good Osley Brothers song, or
Come
those
on.
songs that you could play. They're 30 years old or 40 years old, but you could play them today and they sound just as good today as they did back then. And truth
Yep.
be told, Sister Act 1 and Sister Act 2 are just as good as any movie
Yep.
that's been out lately.
Yep.
You would still get I believe they would still get these same kind of numbers, maybe even more
Yep.
today than they would back in 92, 93. You
Yeah,
know.
I agree. I agree. And I mean, it was still messages in there. Like we talked about the same message in Sister Act, the original one,
Right.
which you brought up perfectly. And sometimes people from different worlds have what each other needs to take them to the next level, internally. And then you have the lesson with Lauryn Hill and
Yeah.
her mom, and how sometimes parents blame their child or hold things against them from the other spouse and not allow them to do things because they think it's going to be the same, and then honoring her daughter and what she wanted to do to be able to do that. And sometimes you just got to show them. So Lauryn Hill ran away to do it because that was in her heart, and her mom came all steaming and mad and then realized how dope and amazing she was as a singer. Then you have, like I said, Ryan Toby's when he did Happy Day, how she was speaking, Whoopi was speaking, Mary Clarence was speaking life into him, right? Saying,
Yeah.
you use your voice, you have it in you, don't be afraid to express yourself in this way. And she really poured
Yeah.
confidence in him. And then she did
Yep.
that in a special way with all of them, you know and
Right.
then even the nuns, like, just because you're a nun, and I know this sounds funny, but just because you're a nun don't mean you can't turn up.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, and that's so
Beautiful.
true. And like I said, I have no idea what priests and nuns and all of them go through. And that's, hey, if that's what you choose to be and choose to do, then that's what you choose to be and choose to do. But it
Yeah,
does not mean that you have to be this, be this person that doesn't have a life.
yeah,
To me, I think that's the worst feeling in the world is you have somebody that has so much in them, and they refuse, or they don't live their life to the fullest. They allow
yeah,
themselves to be kind of this person that I'm stuck in this way and I can't move outside of that. And
yeah,
I've got to be what everybody else wants me to be, but I can't be
yeah.
with who I should can't be who it is that I'm meant to be. You know.
Yes, exactly,
I was gonna
exactly.
go there, but I ain't gonna go there with the person with somebody that whose name popped in my head. But I'm gonna leave it alone. So
Oh
you know,
Lord.
but don't stranglehold yourself, and
Yeah,
be you.
yeah,
Be who it is that like I said, that's if you choose to give your life to God like that, it doesn't mean that you have to just not have a life and
yeah,
not be fun, not have fun.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
tell people all the time, when they say, well, church folks, y'all born like I don't know what folks you hanging around, because I said the folks that I hang around, we have a ball.
Right.
We
Right.
have fun. It's
Right.
we have fun, and but we do it understanding who's beyond all of those good things and everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop us from having fun and
Right.
enjoying life. Not
And
at
I think
all.
that that's changed. I think that's changing where people see people's real lives on
Yeah.
social media. Like you can still love God and act a whole fool and have a good time. I think that that's changing, and I think that that's good. We're gonna end with some trivia.
It's this one, and I got to send it to you. But it's this couple. It's an older couple, right? They come on every. I think they must come on every Sunday. But they show the husband is, you know how we men are. We ain't trying to get in the, we ain't trying to be on the TikTok and all that stuff, right? But the lady, she I don't know if she's a first lady or what, but she be hooked up. I'm talking shoes, the dress, and she comes on, right? And she has her hair in some kind of wrap or whatever. So she'll come on and she had the music playing, and she'll take
Oh,
the
I
wrap
know who
out,
you
let
talking
the
about.
hair,
I know.
let
I
the
know who
hair
you
come
talking about.
down,
I know who you
and
talking.
show
I
the
knew that's
shoes
who you was
through
talking
the
about.
clothes.
I knew that's who you were talking about. I see her online all the time, and she an old country church person. She got her head.
Yeah.
I knew when you were talking about that in my head. I was like, I want. When you said rap, it solidified. She showed the shoes. She showed the little church outfits. She be together now. Look, she be in her
She,
bedroom. That
she be
bed be in
hooking
the
it up.
way, and
But
her husband be looking like his name is Cleophas. He just be like, I'm
but
here.
he in the back. But let me take this past Sunday, I happened to
He
see it
was in
on
the front.
TikTok,
He
right?
was in the front.
He came out, had the hat on.
I
I
saw.
was like,
I
my man.
saw. She come with that big comb. She let that hair down.
Yeah,
That
right,
wrap.
right. And she
She
said,
d-
yeah,
because she be in her house coat. She be in her moo,
yep,
and then she put
yeah.
her clothes on, put her hair down. I'd be like, okay, mama. I know
I
exactly who you
love it. I love it.
I
I
know who
was
you
just
talking
like, I
about.
would love it. But even in that, I think
Yeah,
she got him more comfortable, because even people that were commenting were saying he got more comfortable with being in front of the camera. He was like,
yeah,
no, I got to give me some of this time.
yeah, yeah. The last one, he came to the front because he just be
Yeah.
sitting right back by the bed.
But
All
that's what it's
right.
about. You can
Yeah.
still you can still love God and do, but still you can still have fun.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
live life, man. This
Yeah.
thing ain't got to be,
Yeah.
everything got to be, spiritual or this, that, and the other. It's just enjoy life, have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm all about. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
I'm
but
with you,
this is
brother, because we be having a good time. Even if ain't nobody watching us, we just be we be having a good
hey, I
time on
love it.
here.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So let's end with some
Talking about
trivia.
talking about these movies.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's end
No,
with a
no,
couple of
y'all
trivia
need to go.
facts. What you saying, Leroy?
Say it again.
All right, we're just gonna
I,
end with some trivia fact.
I didn't
I
hear
said,
you.
can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're just ending with some trivia facts. So
Yeah, I
as I
can.
said
Yeah.
earlier, Whoopi Goldberg's daughter, Alex Martin, appears in the movie as one of the classroom students. She's the one that says, "Yo, mama," in the line about Skittles. When the students are on the basketball court, Rita, who's played by Lauryn Hill, starts rapping. Her rap was improvised because she is the Lauryn Hill. The famed high note performer, Ryan Toby, as we talked about, who was a mall, during Oh Happy Day, the song high in E flat, one of the highest and toughest notes for to hit for singers and vocalists. Toby was 16 years old during the shooting of that movie. Internet rumors
Wow.
persisted that Whoopi Goldberg was very unhappy making the first Sister Act 2 in 92 and made the sequel only after Disney decided to finance her dream project, Serafina. However, Serafina debuted at Cannes. Sister Act opened in theaters. All right, theatrical movie debut. We know of Lauryn Hill, but also Ryan Toby. Uh, this is the second time Aretha Franklin did a theme song for Whoopi's movie. The first was for Jumpin' Jack Flash in '86. Um, When released in theaters, this movie was preceded by the opening scene from then upcoming movie The Lion King, where Whoopi played Shenzi. Uh Other ones. Okay. The song Joyful Joyful is based on the song Ode to Joy from Symphony Number 9 in Beethoven. The first This was the first movie, as we know, for future rap star Lauryn Hill. Also, Jennifer Love Hewitt, also a part of the Disney Channel television show Kids Incorporated. I used to love me some Kids Incorporated. Rasan Patterson, singer, it was on there. I used to love me some Kids Incorporated. And it's so funny when I still watch Jennifer Love Hewitt now, I be like, she's on. I just watched her last night. Like she's still doing her thing too. Lastly, what do I want to say? When Father Wolfgang offers Dolores, Sister Mary Clarence, the German sausage, she says, "Oh no, I couldn't, Jenny Craig." This is the reference to, and so she was talking about Jenny Craig in the movie. I wonder if she had a deal with them. I wonder if Jenny Craig paid some money. But this is Sister Act 2. What you got to say to wrap it up so we can get on out here?
No, I think this was really great, and like I said, like we said, we talked about, giving Whoopi Goldberg her flowers, for being the great actress that she is, and the her work that she's done in Hollywood, and this is another thing too for those that just for those that are aspiring to be an actor or actress, in Hollywood, that you don't have to conform. You can be you and still be very successful. I think of her, and I think of Devon Franklin. Those two. They purposely said, "I'm gonna stick to who I am, and I'm not gonna conform," because we've said this before. Hollywood will chew you up and spit you out. When it's done with, it truly will. It will consume you. And Whoopi Goldberg has always been someone who has not allowed herself to be consumed like that. She wasn't going to be the norm. She wasn't going along to get along. She was gonna make it because she was talented. She was gonna make it on her talent because she is very talented, still very talented. So absolutely. But this was good to talk about Sister Act and Sister Act 2, especially in the way that we talk about it, because we bring
and my daughter watched this whole one, and she don't be watching no whole more than just a movie. I told you it's her favorite movie. And she used to love when she was little. When she was little, we used to watch Karina also with Whoopi Goldberg. Jennifer Lewis was in that too. That was one of her favorite movies when she was younger. So if y'all never saw Karina, that was an excellent movie. Y'all got to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So I looked at pictures of Whoopi. Like she was pretty. Like it's interesting. Look, there's that scene. But it's interesting how people, and I hopefully that is changing. She was, I had locks for 13 years down to my butt, right? But I didn't think back then I would get locks. And she got so much grief for wearing locks and being authentically her and being brown and, not conforming in how she dressed and all of that. And then I look at Whoopi Goldberg now. Whoopi Goldberg, a dime a dozen now. And when I say that, I say it respectfully, meaning there's so many people dressing like they want to dress, having locks, sewing in locks, stitching in locks, all of that. And she didn't get the roses then. She's weird, she's dirty, she's this. People were saying all kind of hateful things. And now look. So, I agree with you. Just continue being you. What do the people need to do, Leroy?
Yeah, y'all want to go ahead and click that notification bell first of all. Then you need to make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button right there. Hit that subscribe button, and then we want you to like, share, and comment. We want to hear your comments, what you think about these movies. If it brings back memories for you, about that particular time frame, if you're our age and you remember Sister Act 2, although put your comments there. And it can bring back so many memories. I was on TikTok earlier today, and I was they had somebody had the song Tender Love by the Force MDs on there, and the comments were just like, man, you're bringing back so many memories, and all of those. That's what a good song will do. That's what a good movie will do for you.
Yeah.
It'll bring you back to a particular time or place, so you remember those things, you remember something about it or whatever. That's what these that's what we do, these good movies are about. It's just about bringing about a good time, because we just think about back when we first saw them, and then how good these movies they stood the test of time. Yeah, I believe every single movie we've done has stood the test of time, and that's why we call them Black classics. That's why we can talk about them, or why we talk about them, because they have stood the test of time, and they have lasted. So, put your comments, share it, let everybody know about it, and they can come and put theirs in as well too.
All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. I couldn't do this show without anybody. I can't even talk. Let me rewind. Let's rewind. I could not do this show with anyone other than my brother, the good doctor, Leroy McKenzie Jr. We love movies the same way. And this is more than just a movie where we break down classic Black films, but we do it in a different way. We sometimes bring real life into it. Most of the time we bring real life, and we touch on things that some reviewers don't touch on with this show. Thank y'all for watching. God bless y'all. Remember, you're a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Till next time, God bless. Peace. All right, I think I'm gonna listen to some Sister Act 2. I'm gonna try to find